What's up, everybody? This is the Studio Sessions. I'm your host, Eric Ryan. Let's go!
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I'm Justin Savage. I'm just the second guy in line here.
Yes, he is.
Just representing this family dynamic that we have here.
So how you doing, Justin?
I'm doing great, Eric. How are you tonight?
I'm fantastic. Good to see you.
Good. It's always good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, how was your day?
You know, it really couldn't have got much better. I went and had a pretty awesome day. Went and spent some time with my son and my wife.
Good.
Went and played hoop with the boy. We had a good time, man. It was pretty good. And then I got to come over and see your beautiful shining face.
It is pretty nice sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would have been a little bit better if the Hawks won, but
yeah,
it's okay.
I mean,
And well, speaking of, that's why I'm wearing my Hawks hat here. It's Veterans Day.
It is
Fantastic
Veterans
day.
I want to give a shout out to all the ladies and gentlemen out there that serve our country for us proudly.
Absolutely.
We do appreciate you. I do have a brother and my grandfather, Gene. They serve this country, and I do appreciate them very much. They are pretty great people, and I feel blessed to live in this country. What about you?
Well, we should feel blessed. I mean, shit, we couldn't. I mean, I know they say, land of the free because of the brave, and that's damn true. So if you don't know that, then if you don't like America, you can get the fuck out of here. Because
I couldn't have said it better myself. I
love America.
These people out there, they come in, they serve for us. They do these things. They go to war for us so that we can be free. And sometimes I think that kind of gets skewed in people's views and their beliefs. But, I'm hoping that we get ourselves into a position and a place where everybody looks at it and goes, you know what? Maybe my views aren't what matter. Maybe the things that this country provides for me is what I should base my life on.
But we're second to none, hands down. Yeah. So, again, thanks to all the men and women who served for sure and are continually still serving in the reserves especially. So happy Veterans Day to all you out there.
Thank you.
So, Justin, for the people that don't know, give us a little quick backstory about your life.
My name is Justin Savage. Grew up in University Place, Washington. Had a pretty great life growing up. I feel pretty blessed to be where I'm at today. I had a great family dynamic. I had a great mother. I had a great stepfather. And later on down the road, I had, a great father. Life was pretty good. I was one of those kids that was potentially a at-risk youth. I made some pretty terrible decisions when I was younger.
Man, haven't we all?
Yeah, and but they made me who I am today. And making me who I am today, it was some of the knucklehead decisions that I made. It was some of the guidance that I received from my family growing up, and they kind of pointed me in the right direction. And, some of it was me allowing myself to make decisions for myself and, and moving forward. And, I'm blessed today to say that I work for what I feel is the greatest county in the world, Pierce County. And, it's something that I never thought that I would necessarily be in the position that I am today because of the way that I lived my life when I was a kid.
Sure.
But currently, supervisor for Pierce County Facilities Management. Shout out. I appreciate you guys.
Represent.
I'm in charge of the facilities at the Pierce County Jail, which Mr. McGahee is and was a correction deputy, and so
we'll get into that later.
It's a lot, but
and you're recently married.
Where I'm at. I am recently married. I have a absolutely gorgeous and amazing wife, Cassara, now Savage, previously Burnt.
Yep.
She is a great wife, an amazing wife, an amazing co-parent, mother, bonus mom to my son and our son, London.
You should write that in a Christmas card.
Yeah, I know.
Adorable.
And she actually, she's a great friend and co-parent to kind of our crazy family dynamic that we have here.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that for sure. So before we start that, though, I'm going to hit you with some rapid-fire questions.
Go ahead.
Are you ready for this?
I'm in.
All right. All right, right off the cuff.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
Boxers or briefs?
Boxer briefs.
Like a little combination?
Combo.
Okay.
I like them tight, but I like them to be a little bit longer.
All right. Dream car.
Dream car actually is a practical, is the truck that I currently have. My pickup truck is exactly what I've always wanted.
As your dream car?
I love my pickup. That's all what I've
You're
always
a-
wanted my whole life.
You're a liar.
No, I'm not lying. But
All right.
impractical, Lamborghini Murcielago.
There we go. All right. Trapped on an island, you get one type of food. So I'm talking like, I'm not talking like Asian or Mexican. I'm talking like you can only have sandwiches or barbecue or something like that.
Snickers bars.
The whole time?
The whole time. I don't give a shit. It has everything. It has chocolate, caramel, peanuts, nougat. It's like what it is to me is like a plethora of amazingness.
I think that's fair enough. Okay.
I couldn't be happier.
Next one. Chevy or Ford?
Toyota.
All right. It's not my option here. Okay, and last one. Favorite rap artist?
Favorite rap artist ever would probably be KRS-One.
Ooh, all right.
He is amazing.
Okay.
Lyrically, the best, I think, to ever do it.
All right. I dig it. I dig it.
Now, since you did that to me, it's only fair that I do it to you
Bring it
also.
on.
So,
Bring it
I
on,
got
brother.
rapid questions as well.
What you got for me?
Vodka or whiskey?
Oh, vodka.
All day?
Yeah, whiskey's been tending to make me a little saucy.
I know, but I love the fact that when you do drink whiskey, you feel and act very important.
It feels sometimes I feel like the Hulk's coming out in me a little bit.
That's okay. That's all right sometimes.
Consistency though, I'm gonna have to go with vodka.
All right, we'll go with that. Boobs or butt?
Whew. I'm gonna have to go with ass just because you can get boobs, but man, I'm getting a nice ass. You gotta get some squats and stuff, booty all day.
Shout out to the Kardashians, though. You never really know. You can buy those, too.
You really can.
You really can buy everything that you want nowadays. But I'll go with boobs. I'm kind of a...
No, I want
or
no,
butt
but,
guy,
yeah.
sorry. I got that
Don't get
way more.
misconstrued.
Sorry, I apologize.
Don't get
everybody.
misconstrued.
Long walks on the beach or hiking in the mountains?
Man, both suck. So let's see. I'm gonna go with. I had a good time hiking not too long ago with Keela, so I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna go hiking.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's
That
good.
was fun.
I like the mountains around here. We got. It's
We
good.
do. There's a lot of good hiking over here.
All right. NFL football or college?
Ooh. I'm gonna say NFL. Oh man, it's tough.
Is that because the Huskies suck this year?
Ooh. Don't be throwing shade in my direction right now,
I'm
Coug
sorry.
fan.
I'm sorry.
Let's do I've watched NFL. No, I've actually watched college more. Damn it! Like I can only pick one.
You can only pick one. I mean, I understand that football is a great sport in
Man.
general, but which would you rather watch?
I'm gonna watch NFL.
Okay.
I'm gonna go watch NFL.
All right. Even though the Hawks gave us what we did not. I didn't expect it from them today.
We did, I thought we
We did all right.
we did all right.
For a 4-5 team now, I think that we did okay against.
Could have done
LA.
better. That's okay.
All right, and final question. Rap or metal?
Metal.
Metal?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Really?
Yep. There's nothing like metal gets me so jacked up. Like
Yeah.
my whole background is music. My everything. Like we're in my studio now, and I have like my guitars on the wall. All the songs I've done. I love rap. Don't get me wrong, because being in a rap group, but I've been in a lot of metal bands too. There's something about playing an instrument and like something about metal music just like fires me up. I mean, rap gets me excited too, but not like metal. Like metal is so heavy and so intense, and it's like
Dude,
you want to smash somebody's face sometimes.
I think you guys are great at both of them, but
Oh, speaking of, we're Moscow Mules.
yeah. Mine's an Irish mule.
Oh yeah, that's
We're
right.
sponsored by whiskey and vodka tonight.
Yes, we are.
Jameson and Platinum. Just
Yeah.
like our records that we make.
You're damn right. All right, man. So let's get into the nuts and bolts of this real quick.
Okay.
The reason I wanted to start this, or at least this first episode, was our family dynamic.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different than most people, most split families, as far as the way that we are with each other. Most families, if people don't know how Justin and I are and our wives together, how we came about. So I guess, give a little backstory. So I am married to your ex-wife,
Yes, you are.
which you married 10 plus years ago.
I did.
Y'all had a son together, London, who lives with us mainly. And to be prefaced, that's not because Justin doesn't want to see him. It's just because schooling really is what it is. The bus stop picks him out right out here. But not only that is you're not an every other weekend dad.
No.
Since we met, we've always had we weren't close from the get go. 6 years, so it's been almost 6 years now. January would be 6 years. We're coming up on 6 years. Is that we have the same mindset. I believe when it comes to parenting, and we're also two friends. And people think like, oh, maybe you guys just hang out just because you're forced to. Not the case.
Not at all.
Now we literally just took family pictures together the other day.
For probably the 10th time.
10th time probably. We go to school functions together.
Yeah.
We go on vacations together. We go to parties together, barbecues together, hanging out all the time together.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen each other cry. We've seen each other. We've been there low points, high points.
Yeah.
And people, I know that when we post pictures and people, see what's kind of going on, they're like, what the hell is going on? Hold on. So you're married to his ex-wife. You guys all hang out together. You got the kid together. You guys parent together. You babysit my 2 children.
Yeah.
Which you did yesterday. While your wife and
went with my ex-wife.
With your ex-wife, who was my wife, and then went shopping.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, for me, you look at it and it's a pretty wild situation. When I got divorced, it wasn't necessarily what I wanted, but it was what I knew and deep down in my heart that needed to happen. So a little back on that is Eric's wife, which I felt, at that time, we got married when we were young.
Yeah,
so
you guys, how old were you?
Keela was 22 and I was 26.
So about 10 years ago?
Yeah, and it was more of one of those things where, we've talked about it many times before. It's at that point in our lives, that summer, we were in 7 different weddings together. We did everything together with our group of friends. And at that point, it was what we felt, and I guess what we agreed on at that time, that was the next step in our relationship.
Right. Because everybody's doing it at the same time. So you're like, oh, I mean, they're doing it. She's doing it. He's doing it. Like, we're kind of together.
They argue. Everybody kind of does it.
Makes sense.
So it just made sense to us. But I think that deep down we all knew that it wasn't necessarily, not that we didn't love each other, because we were great friends and we continue to be great friends. But it just wasn't necessarily right. And I think that that's where a lot of people get things mixed up, is that you get people that are kind of in the same situation that we are, but they don't want to admit that it's not something that one person did or the other person did. They just want to go ahead and disagree and be like, oh, well, you're this or you're that, whether or not that be on the guy end or the girl end. And they just want to fight with each other.
Right.
Which to us, maybe if you look at it as a whole in society, makes sense, because that's how things have been for so long. But I think that we all look at it different. We go, okay.
Well, I think it takes very too strong, or everybody involved has to be kind of in agreement. You know what I mean? But I'm such a believer in taking the high road in so many situations. Yeah. We can throw jabs all day long at each other. We can be pissed off about something, we can be like, oh, fuck him for this or fuck him for that, That's why I was reading statistically today, actually, in the U.S. Census, the Bureau of the U.S. Census, that this is done a little bit a while ago, but out of the 60 million children, half of them, so 30 million, under the age of 13 live in split family homes. Mm-hmm. And they usually grow up not doing well because generally the exes still have continued hate for each other or malice towards them. Oh, like, he was a piece of shit dad, or no, she was just a bitch, or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? And I know that when I met Keela, I was just looking for a fun time. I wasn't looking for nothing serious, you know what I mean? And I know she wasn't too. And we met, and then I met London a little bit a couple months in, and he was 4.5 at the time, almost 5. And I remember meeting him, and I didn't know I really didn't want. 'Cause I had a bad taste in my mouth growing up when I dated another girl with a kid. She was a really shitty mom, and I remember meeting Keela, and she was like, "I want you to meet London," and I was like, "No, I'm really not." I didn't really want to meet him at the time. Not that I didn't care about him, because obviously my feelings now are way different than they were the 1 month I knew his mother.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really sure, and so I did, and we met, and it was fine. And we went from there, but Keela and I's relationship grew and grew and grew, and then obviously there's a different dynamic, which is his father, you.
Which his father, at that point, when I found out about Eric, due to past relationships that she may have had, he was probably the worst than I could probably think of. I was like, all these other guys you dated had regular jobs. They were a certain caliber of person that I just didn't like because I didn't like them at that point. And so I hear about Eric. Of course, I do my research at that point, and I was like, okay, he's a bartender. He's in a band. I listen to some of his music. I talk shit about it. I talk shit about him.
Okay.
I think it was more of one of those things that it was like, at that point in my life, it was a jealousy thing. So one night I decide that I'm at the bar with some buddies of mine, and I'm like, you know what? Keela said that I can't meet this guy.
Yeah, I remember she did not want me to call you.
Yeah, she didn't want us to meet. We were scheduled to meet. We were scheduled to meet because I was like, he's going to be in my son's life. I want to know what this guy's really about.
Right.
We got into a argument, tiff, whatever it was, me and Keela did.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, you're not going to meet him. And I was like, okay, so cancel the meeting, whatever. And so I ended up going out with some buddies, and I ended up drinking a little bit.
No.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a
I
scotch.
was like, you know what? I'm going to go down to his bar. I know he's working tonight. So I go down there and walk in, and I sit down at the bar, and I look across him, and he's like,
I just see you walk through the door, and I was like, oh, this motherfucker walked right in the door. And we had just, because we had only spoken, I think, one or twice on the phone.
Yeah.
Because I remember asking you for your number through Facebook.
yeah.
And because Keela didn't want us to talk, you know what I mean? And I was like, hey, man, just this is who I am. This is what I'm about. I know you got the second life. Keela and I had been dating only like maybe 2-3 months at the time. And then I remember you saying kind of something about meeting, And then when because I had never seen you before, I kind of knew what you looked like. And I saw you walk through the door. I'm like, ah, shit. Like, just like this, like.
At work?
At work, yeah. Like, oh, this guy came to my work and everything. But then go ahead.
But then, so it's like, I sit down at the bar, and I know he's busy, and I'm sitting there, and I went by myself. You
didn't come with an entourage or
I
nothing.
wasn't trying to tough guy him. I mean, I guess I probably kind of was in a way, just because that's just who I kind of am. I'm a very protective person. Eric knows that I would do anything for him and his family. But at that point, it was just my own. It was just my son and my ex-wife. And I walk in, and I sit down at the bar, and he's like, hey, what's up? And I was like, how you doing? Shook his hand, and kind of went from there. And, I talked to him, and, we were kind of bullshitting across the bar, and he goes, Keela kind of told me how you are with all of her other boyfriends, with all the other guys that she dates. He goes, I want you to know that I'm not scared of you. And at that point, it's not that people are scared of me, but I've never really had anybody kind of press me at all about that kind of stuff. It's not me being a tough guy. It's just, I've never really had anybody kind of to my face blatantly go, I'm not scared of you.
I was pretty straightforward.
He was. And at that point,
and I was 145 pounds.
Yeah. At that point, that moment, that was when I go, you know what, I can respect this guy. He has balls. He can take care of his own. He can, regardless of whether or not he was to win or whatever, if we were to ever get into it, at that point, he stood up for himself as far as I was concerned, and that meant the world to me. I was like, I actually took a breath of fresh air. It was because most of the guys before, sorry to the guys that were out there, but they were kind of pussies.
And that's the funny thing is like, it wasn't. about winning, you know. It was about, I knew who I was as a man. I knew what I had to bring to the table as far as Keela goes. But with London, he's the first kid in my life at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody I was taking care of, and Keela and I weren't living together yet, I don't think, because we didn't move until maybe May, or maybe we did live together. Or just
I don't think it was there.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, we didn't live together yet. But you know, Keela and I's relationship went really fast. You know what I mean? And you know, and like Keela, I always say with her, like we managed chaos pretty well, and it was pretty fucking chaos and fast and a lot going on, but also too, I respected the fact that you are London's dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that if I'm going to be in his life, you're going to be in my life, and it has to come full circle. You know, I could sit here and choose to be an asshole, just like you did. Because I remember asking that before. I was like, man, how do we do this? And I remember you saying, well, if you were an asshole to me,
Then
I'd be an
asshole to you.
right back. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be that way.
No.
It's actually a lot easier. This life is so much easier when we can be copacetic, you know, and to parent together. And, you know, it took a little bit of work. I mean, the first year, so that was 2013,
Oh, jeez.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, January 2013. So that year, you know, we weren't like great friends like we are now.
Kindergarten that year.
What?
We all went to kindergarten.
We did go to
Dropped
kindergarten
Leonard
that year.
That was 2013.
Yeah, damn. And it took that year for us to kind of grow, because we definitely were where we're at now then, obviously, because we were growing and stuff like that. But it was pretty cool to see how much we've changed and kind of taken the steps to be such bigger men, because there's a lot of men out there that don't take care of their own.
No, they don't.
You know,
and I mean, and this is just kind of goes back a little bit, but when you think about it, and it's to the ladies and to the guys, it's to both of you. Guys walk around and they have this idea of what they want as a girl. Guys, I'm telling you, for the most part, the girl that you want is not the girl that you want to be with. In girls, the guys that you want are not the guys that you necessarily want to be with.
No, probably not. I believe that.
Guys and girls can both be super douchey.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a true
true.
statement. I mean,
I worked in the bar, man. There's both sides of the coin.
it is. And
Both sides.
guys are promiscuous, girls are promiscuous, whatever it may be. Guys are tough guys. You can get these kind of girls that are kind of tough girls. You see these people that you think that you want to be with, and those aren't them. For the most part, I would say I'm not a statistics guy, but from what I've seen in my life, 90% of the time, you're not going to want to be with that person that you're spending time with.
Yeah, and you also too, you know, we ignore red flags.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I've had so many relationships where I'm like, this is pretty awesome. That's some good times. You know what I mean? Like we had fun a lot or whatever, but like the red flags pop up and you're like, nah, they're just having a bad day, you know, or whatever. But then they start snowballing a little bit, and then you start thinking like, you know, people get jaded, you know, and I think, you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve and stuff like that, but I usually can look past a lot of things because you want to see the good in people and that kind of stuff. And there comes a point though, where you just got to be like, let me just cut this shit right off.
Eric, let's talk about this for a second.
All right.
How do you feel about situations when things come up with London, when we have our sit downs, when we sit down and we all discipline them as a family? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, I definitely feel like we're all one cohesive unit. Like
I agree with that.
Kilo he's usually a little bit more afraid to say things to me, but also more so you, because you know he's 10 and doesn't want to disappoint and stuff like that. But Keela can usually get it out of him pretty quickly. He'll usually feel more inclined to tell her, yeah, he's got because he's got a soft heart, and so he'll be like, "Mom, actually,
Which is pretty crazy.
I lied." But no, I think when we get together, you know, like we've had a handful of sit downs here, you know, just recently when he lied about his reading. So, you know, we all sat him down and we caught him in a lie, or Keela did, and about getting his certain amount of points that he has to at school. But he lied to your face, lied to his mom's face,
Lied to Cass's face.
lied to Cass's face, and lied to me too.
Yeah.
And you know, when we all sat him down, you know, he obviously broke down because, you know, he felt bad. I think he did. Mainly probably because he got caught too, you know, like we all do. You know, we don't get caught lying. But the thing about us is so great is there's not one of us in the group that is completely coming from right field. Like we're all pretty much like right here. Yeah. You know, like we're pretty much thinking the same thing. Our disciplinary actions are about the same thing. Like you lose TV here, you lose TV at dad's house, vice versa. But also too, we explain things. You know, we're not yelling and screaming. You know, we might be a little mad.
Not
you know,
anymore. I'm not yelling and screaming anymore.
No, but I mean, I'm saying like in general, we might at the house we might be upset at something, or like I'm upset at Cash and Monroe, and you know, because they're little and doing crazy things. But no, we don't yell and scream no more. It's like, you know, you've lost this. Now you do this. Let's learn from your mistakes. Let's go from there. But no, I think we do a fantastic job. You know, we're parents. You know, there's no handbook. You know, there's handbook over this co-parenting thing. Like normally it's just two parents. You know,
but if you ask people outside of our situation, which I don't understand, and I apologize if I offend. Actually, I don't really apologize. I try to offend. I do things based off the story and the reaction that I get, but you can't raise a kid based off of some book that you read by some author that was renowned to tell you how to raise your kid.
Parenting is not like that.
No, and it shouldn't be. The thing is that I guarantee you every single parent up until this generation was not raised off of basing your decisions based off of a book that you picked up somewhere.
And you learn as you go. You know, it's trial and error.
Oh yeah.
You know, I feel like, you know, just like my whole fucking life is trial and error. You know, you make mistakes. You know, I honestly don't think parenting is that hard. I think what's hard is consistency. You got to be consistent with your kids. And that's everything from discipline. I think discipline's the biggest part. You know, like, oh, they know I could talk to mom and get something out of here when dad just said no. Mm-hmm. But if both parents are on the same page, or four parents are on the same page, it makes that dynamic so much easier, right?
Yeah.
I think taking a step back and being able to listen to your kid, listen to your children, see what's going on, but also too, I'm very age dependent. So London, for example, he's the oldest out of three.
Yeah.
You know, he's got his younger brother who's almost 5, his younger sister who's 2.5. And, you know, for a while, he was the only kid. You know, it was all rainbows and unicorns and fun stuff, you know, and he was the only grandchild, you know, and now there's 2 more. So I definitely look at London to be a responsible older brother, to be set an example for his younger brother. And as he gets older, especially in the teenage years, that's going to become even full-fold. Mm-hmm. I think it's though it's super important for him to understand that we love him all the same. I'll have times where, you know, because I'm always on about his room. Like, we have routines every morning. What we do, you know, it's always get up for school, brush your hair. I mean, you know, brush your teeth, get your room done, breakfast, all that kind of stuff. And there's times where I'll shut his door after saying goodnight, or maybe we'll be kind of talking. Mom will be mad at this, or I'll be this, and we'll just kind of be in a thing. And I'll shut his door, and I'll stand in the hallway, and I'll go, man. I'll go back in there and say, hey, man, sorry, I love you. You know what I mean? Or I'm not even sorry about something. Maybe I was just like, I haven't said that to you in a little bit, you know, because I don't want them to grow up, or him to grow up, or his brother and sister to grow up not knowing that dad didn't talk to me, you know, didn't say sorry, didn't, you know, I don't want to talk at him. I want to talk to him, you know. I think that's a big deal. I remember my dad growing up, like, just kneeling down to me and talking to me when he disciplined me. Like, you were stern, like, you meant what you said. But, you know, sometimes it's just for, you know, like, I see you, man, I hear you, you know, and I want our kids to be able to talk to us. I think that's a huge thing. I think our kids should be able to come talk to us, because if they're not talking to us, they're going to learn from somewhere else. I don't want them to learn from somewhere else.
No, not at all.
No, and there's too many fucking creepers out there, man. I ain't trying to have that.
And that's where I apologize to London all the time, because for me, he gets the brunt of it because I was such a jackass when I was a kid. Like, and I tell him all the time, I'm like, hey, man, I was like, I'm sorry that you have to endure some of this, but I didn't have the guidance that I feel like I needed when I was younger. So you're going to have to play catch up with what I didn't get. So, you know, when it comes to lying, when it comes to him being a certain way, I'm like, bro, you got to be above and beyond anything that I ever was. So the minute you graduate school, if I raise you the way that I feel like I'm raising you, you can already at that point say that you're a better man than me. You've accomplished more, you've dealt with more, you've been on the receiving end of punishments that I never saw, because when I was a kid, I would get in trouble for things and then it would be like a day and I'd be back out doing same dumb shit that I was doing before.
Right.
And I'll be damned if he ends up in his early 20s, late teens, early 20s going, this is a good decision.
No,
Because it's not, most of the things that I did when I was in my late teens and my early 20s were terrible decisions.
massive. I mean, parents being consistent, you know, and like sticking to what you say, saying what you mean what you say. Yes, yes. Your yes mean yes. Your no mean no.
Yeah. And especially not lying, because when it comes to lying, like when I was a kid, I lied a lot.
It's tough.
I lied about shit that I didn't even need to lie about,
Right.
because I thought that my friends would like me more if I made up this big story about whatever it may be, smoking pot or drinking or whatever it was, something stupid. And I don't want him to feel like he has to do anything to impress the people that are around him, because
And that's, you know, social acceptance. That's a big thing. You know, you want to feel, you know, you want to be cool around your friends, you know, like, you know, you want to have nice shoes and clothes and you want to do the cool thing, you know, oh, they're doing it like that. You know what I mean? So I get it. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to, you know, you try to carve your own path, especially growing up. I mean, as you get older,
Yeah.
you want to make your own way. So how do I do that? Oh, Timmy's doing this over here. Johnny's doing this over here. Seems he's doing okay. But really, is that the right way to go? And, you know, there's definitely going to be those challenges as he grows up and, you know, cash him in a row for sure. So I'm sure he's going to blaze that trail for us.
Oh, I know he will. And the thing is, he's a great kid. It's just, but it all has to do with, at the end of the day, with how we all come together. It's a huge joint effort. I mean, it really is. I mean, London's with me 3 days during the week at night and every other weekend.
Right.
And really, when you look at it, we're all together so much that there's really not any, you know, downtime to where he's really with mom or he's with mom and Eric or dad and Cass. Like, there's not really any downtime.
No, there's not. Even on like the holidays and stuff like that, because usually per your guys' parenting plan is every other year holidays.
Yeah.
But those holidays we usually spend together.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, definitely for sure for the last 4 years.
Exactly, you know, and it's going to be I'm super glad and thankful that he will know as he gets older. He won't have to know what, unfortunately, most kids do. Oh, I was with dad this year, or I'm with mom this next year, or I'm with, you know, dad on his birthday, or, oh, I guess dad's mad at mom again and mom's mad at that, you know, and that's huge because I know a lot of exes, you know, will sometimes they talk shit about their ex in front of their kids, and being such young and so susceptible to that information. And why is dad like that? You know, they don't understand, you know, like, when, why is mom so mad at dad, or why is dad mad at mom, blah, blah, blah. I'm glad that he's going to grow up knowing that, man, I had 4 parents that love me. You know, my brother and sister love me. There wasn't much fighting going on. There wasn't no splitness, you know what I mean? Like, because I remember my parents got divorced, I was fucking destroyed, you know, and I was old. I was like 18. Excuse me, when they got divorced, and I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand this dislike that my mom had for my dad, and my dad's understanding with my mom. But obviously, as I grew older, I got to understand a little bit more, and that's a whole different podcast for that one for sure.
Well, my parents, and that's when Keela and I originally got together. We looked at it and we said, okay, what are we going to do different than what other people do? And we looked at what we had in common. And we both had the fact that we didn't really have a relationship with our dads. And so we were like, you know, we're going to try and have a relationship with our dads. Because my dad wasn't really there for me most of my life, you know. And my mom and my stepdad you know, kind of picked up the slack on that. And then I kind of looked to other people, other, you know, friends and their families to kind of fill that gap for me.
Sure.
With that, we said, hey, we're going to try and have a relationship. And so we did. Keela started talking to her dad at that point. I started talking to my dad. My dad being a lot closer, considering Keela's dad's in Florida. You know, my dad came into our lives, and he came in strong. He came in great as a father. He helped out, you know, financially, as far as not giving me money, but he provided me with the knowledge to, you know, learn a trade.
Sure.
And he compensated me for it. And he was also an amazing grandfather, you know, and so
That's awesome.
At that point, it meant the world to me to have that relationship, because that's something that I needed my whole life. Not that my stepfather didn't give that to me, because my stepfather was amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better bonus parent than my stepdad, Chris.
I love that term, the bonus parent. I think it's fun.
I don't like using step.
The step,
anymore.
and often like
I don't
I've
using
never
step.
once used my stepson. I've never once used that. You know what I mean? Because it feels weird to me. And like I remember asking you before, like, man, I know London's not my biological son. I don't like saying, like, are you okay with me saying? This is a while back. I remember. I don't know if you remember that, but
Years ago.
I was like, I don't like saying, like, if it doesn't make you feel, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, I won't say that. You know, and you're like, oh man, like we're all in this together, and that's fucking cool.
Yeah,
Like how many other parents and dads can say that?
And even Cass is dealing with that now, because
It took me a while to get to that point, even just to even have London say "I love you" back. You know what I mean? It's a big deal. You know what I mean? Because like him and I weren't like that when we first started, because he's getting to know me, and now he's doing the same thing with Cass. You know?
Well, the first time he said "I love you" back to Cass, I got home from dropping it off at your guys' house, and I come home and she's like in tears, and I'm like, "Are you okay?
Who died?
You know, what did I do?
What'd I do?
Did I do something wrong?" And she's like, "No, that was the first time that he said I love you back." I was like, well, that's good. I said,
Progress.
I'm happy that these are happy tears.
Right.
You know, I was like, but I don't ever want him to feel the way that I felt when I was a kid, because my parents hated each other. My parents hated each other up until my dad died. You know, my dad died, he was 61 years old. Up until the day that he died, they hated each other. Not necessarily my dad. My dad kind of dealt with things, but my mom had a strong dislike for my dad. And it bummed me out, especially when I saw the relationship that he had with London. Mm-hmm. I was like, how can you hate somebody so much that has tried and has worked so hard to be the opposite of what he was? And he did a lot of shitty things when he was younger.
Right.
To my mom. So, I mean, I don't discredit that at all. And I don't take that and go, you're out of line by saying that you have bad feelings for him, because you have every right to be.
She dealt with him in a whole different other spectrum, for sure.
You have the right to not like him. I get that. But he's a great grandfather to your grandson. He's a great father to me now, you know, regardless of whether or not that's 25 years later down the road.
Yeah, it's like water on the bridge, you know. And that's why I went to, not to cut you off, but remember I said about the beginning of this, like taking the high road. Yeah. I mean, we can sit here and sulk all day about the bullshit that's happened in our life, from kid, teens, young adulthood, you know. Yeah. But you got to figure out at some point what makes you happy and what's going to make you happy, you know. And that could be the smallest thing. Rich, poor, fat, skinny, like anything. You know what I mean? Life is so short. You got one life to fucking live. You know what I mean? So I want to spend it with the people I love, my children, my wife, my best friends, and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those are important things, you know? We want our kids to be raised up in that. We want our kids to be raised up in a healthy, loving household. And, you know, and not to know some of the struggles that we went through. And if we are going to do them, I'm going to do my damned, you know, to shield you from that as best as I could, you know. I want them to learn, you know. Life is hard sometimes, but.
And your household isn't just where you dwell. Your household is who is around you. It's who you surround yourself with. It's the people that you bring into your family's lives. Like, and I definitely 100% feel like I have absolutely the best possible scenario that there ever was. But the thing is that they say that you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. So, I mean,
Sure.
your friends become your family.
They really do. Family does not have to be blood.
No, and these people that we've surrounded ourselves with, it really is our village. You look at it, and that's the craziest thing. And I know everybody doesn't have that.
No, right.
But when you look at what we have as a friendship circle,
It's pretty damn good.
and you go, you know, Jason parents his kids the same way that we parent, you know, as far as dads are concerned.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Jason parents his daughter the same way that we do. Josh maintains and provides for his family the same way that we do our kids. I mean, all these people, Jesse, all these people that we surround ourselves with. And when I look at it and my son's acting like an asshole over off to the side and I don't see him and Jesse does, Jesse has every right to say, hey, stop being an asshole. I mean, and that's what happens. I mean,
Right.
we should feel blessed to have that, because most people, you have a real eclectic group of friends
Sure.
that might be different on the dad's side and super weird on the mom's side, or vice versa. And it's like, they don't have that. But that's what I'm saying. It's not just the people that you bring into your life as far as your boyfriend, girlfriend, stepmom, stepdad,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. Surround yourself with people that are going to make you better people. Don't surround yourself with people that are going to make you, that are going to keep you in the same rut that you've been in
And
since you were 15 years old.
Yeah, and definitely as older I've gotten, like my friend group has gotten smaller and smaller. You know, some of it good, some of it bad. You know what I mean, and well, that's fine. I think that's just the way it is, you know. But like you gotta find what's gonna make you and your family life better.
Yeah.
Period. Like I'm not trying to, you know, I don't want to fuck around anymore with anything like that. You know, I want to enjoy my life. I want to hang out with my friends. I want to hang out with everybody and have a good time. And I want our kids to understand that as well. Also too, you know, I want our wives to be a part of that. And like it's all one. There's no, we're not separate here in any sort of stretch of the imagination. So, you know, I think our dynamic is pretty awesome. I think we're very fortunate, you know, to what we have, you know, but I think also that's what we built. We built a great foundation between you and I as dads from the get-go, from 6 years ago. You know, we helped build this foundation, and to where we are at now, it's taken, you know, stones and stones after stone to build, you know, to where we're at now. And I think it's pretty awesome. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for you, you know what I mean? Grateful for our wives sticking by our side and to be there with us. And
I could not imagine having somebody that does not have to be supportive of me, but is as supportive as you are of my life and my family and what I have going on. So, I mean, it really is different than what other people are going to see. So we're not doing this conversation so that you guys look at it and go, oh, these guys think that they're better than me. We're doing it because you have to realize at some point there's better out there for you. There's
sure.
better out there for you ladies. There's better out there for you guys. But it does take work. You can't. It's not just something that
it's not going to be handed to you. You got to work for it.
But that's life in general. I mean, I have a friend of mine that I think about constantly all the time. He has the absolute worst situation that you could possibly think of. He loves his son very much, and he still loves his ex as the mother of his son.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that he has to realize at some point that it's not just what the mother of his son's doing, it's what he's doing also. And it's really hard for people to pinpoint that and to take responsibility for it. You have to at some point take responsibility for your own actions. And if you take responsibility for your actions and you better yourself, if the people that are out there that are talking about supporting you or potentially want to support you, if they're not falling into line but you're doing what you're supposed to do, then there's no reason to have them around. You know, it's just, I look at it and I go, just take a step back. Just look at things and go, hey, I might not be doing all that I need to do, so I'm going to do the best to my ability and stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. And if they or her or whoever it is doesn't do the same thing, then fuck them.
Fuck them. I like
You know
it.
what I'm saying?
You know, because, you know, we need to lead by example.
Yeah.
You know, like I always say, and we'll get to wrapping this up, is I always say, like, I'm raising kings and queens, not raising shitbags.
No.
You know, 100%. I refuse to do that, you know. But I don't think we're going to have any issues with that.
No, because I'll whoop every single one of these kids' asses if they...
100%. You know, I got my ass beat with a belt growing up, so I might have
did
to.
I.
I might have to bring it up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to bring the belt up.
I'm not gonna. They don't need it.
No, they're good kids. Hey, well, Justin, thanks for being here. Thanks for talking with me.
I love it.
You know, we're going to keep doing this, you know, and everybody's always joked my two dads coined that phrase, and I think it's a perfect example of that. I think we do pretty damn well for ourselves.
I think we do great. And, you know, moving forward with this, it's going to be the long haul. We're not doing it. It's not just going to be one time.
Oh, yes,
I know,
for sure.
I know that we had our dinners that people would love to watch us cook dinner together for the kids and spend time with the family and stuff like that as two dads. But there's going to be a lot of topics that we talk about. And, you know, it's more to generalize how we believe, what we feel, you know, and it is our opinion. And if you disagree with us, have a conversation with us about it.
I
We're
agree.
not opposed to it. Neither of us are.
No.
We like conversations.
I like conversation. I like talking to people.
So
It's fun.
I do appreciate you, man. I love you more than anything in this world. You've done a lot for me.
Man, I love
really
you too,
appreciate
brother.
it.
Well,
Happy retirement, by the way.
shit. God damn it. Well, happy Veterans Day to everybody out there. Thanks for watching the studio sessions. I'm Eric Ryan, Justin Savage, and have a good night. We'll talk to you next time.
We'll
see you later.
guys.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?